Dear viewers, if your spirit is weary and you find yourself feeling defeated by life's relentless challenges, this heartfelt message offers a way forward. Within these words, you'll find profound yet simple encouragement, spiritual truths that meet you in the valley of doubt and walk with you step by step toward restoration. May this script speak hope into your soul, dispel the shadows of pain, and help you find new courage to rise again. My beloved friend, I see you where you are right now, tired, worn out, feeling as though life's relentless battles have finally taken their toll on you. Perhaps the conflict has not been a single grand confrontation, but a series of small, crushing defeats that have chipped away at your heart, your mind, and your sense of self-worth. You have fought valiantly, yet you feel like you are standing in the wreckage of your dreams and desires. You feel as if your enemies, whether external forces or the daunting shadows within your own heart, have surrounded you, outnumbered you, and trampled upon your hope. You're wondering if there is a way out, a path that leads you away from this desolation. I want you to know that your tears have been seen. You have not cried alone, and your heartbreak has not gone unnoticed. Even in the darkest nights when the weight of your struggles pressed in on every side, you were not abandoned. Sometimes, in the crushing weight of what feels like failure, it's nearly impossible to see that you are still held in a sacred space of love and possibility. But that is the truth. You are held. You are valued. And though it may appear that all is lost, there is still a flicker of light within your soul that no darkness can extinguish. Come close, dear friend. Let's walk through this valley of doubt, together step by step, and I will share with you a truth that pierces the gloom. It may feel like a small whisper in this vast darkness, but that whisper holds immeasurable power. Listen to it. You are not defeated. You are not powerless. You are made for more than you ever dared to imagine. You may feel these words are too lofty for you to believe right now, but let them settle upon your heart. Give them room to breathe. Let them slowly find their way into those cracked, dry places of your soul, like fresh water on parched ground. You see, every person has moments of absolute defeat. Even the mightiest warriors have days when they wonder if they can lift their sword one more time. But here is the secret that strong men and women of faith and courage have passed down through the generations. It is often in your lowest places that you find the wellsprings of deepest strength. The spiritual realm is wondrous in that way. When you have come to the end of your own efforts, your own energy, and your own cunning, a divine energy can rise up from within your spirit if you allow it. This is not about ignoring pain, nor is it about pretending everything is just fine. No, it's about acknowledging the pain, weeping when you need to, and then, ever so gently, opening your heart to the possibility that help is closer than you imagine. I want you to envision yourself in a valley. On every side are high cliffs, and to climb out seems impossible. You are exhausted from trying. Your hands bleed from grabbing for slippery rocks. The storms rage overhead. It is cold. You feel exposed, and you are convinced you cannot survive another day here. But in that valley, there is a still small voice calling out to you. It says, "Be still, rest a while, then notice that I am here." It's like a gentle whisper from the very center of your soul. reminding you that you are not alone. It reminds you that there is a power far greater than your own that desires to work in and through you, to heal you, to carry you, and to strengthen you in ways you can't even fathom. When you feel like your enemies have gotten the upper hand, be they physical circumstances, people who oppose you, or the inner critics that torment your mind, remember that there is a power in surrendering to something higher, a power in leaning on a strength beyond yourself. True victory often requires humility, the willingness to say, I can't do this on my own anymore. In that humility, you make room for grace. And grace is potent. Grace steps in where your own abilities falter. Grace cradles you when you can no longer stand. Grace does not shame you for being weak. Rather, it celebrates your courage to acknowledge that you can't make it alone. Now, this moment might be just what you need. If you allow your heart to open even a crack, you may start to sense an unexpected warmth in your spirit, like the early morning sun after a long, cold night. This warmth isn't wishful thinking. It's the dawn of hope that beckons you to rise again. You see, even if your enemies are strong, even if they have taken so much from you that you hardly recognize your own life, the story is not over. You still have breath in your lungs. You still have a spirit that can commune with life-giving truths, and in that communion, you can receive the power to move forward. Let me ask you this. When you close your eyes, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself cowering under the weight of your enemies, convinced you have no more fight left? Or do you see yourself being lifted? Sometimes you have to allow a vision of hope to form within you before it can manifest around you. Envision yourself being helped to your feet by a compassionate hand. Feel, in your mind's eye, the warmth of that gentle yet unstoppable force that is always present, no matter how desolate the landscape. Let that image sink into your consciousness. Let it stir a spark of faith within, however faint it may be. This is how you begin to rise. I hear your hesitation. You might be saying, but you don't know what I've done. You don't know how many times I've tried and failed. I can't go on hoping only to be disappointed again. Dear friend, your heartache is understood. Broken promises and shattered dreams can leave deep scars. Perhaps you have reached out before, only to feel abandoned. It is okay to weep over such betrayal and loss. You have permission to feel the depth of your pain. Yet, in the midst of your weeping, know that there is a healing power that transcends disappointments. Call it grace. Call it divine love. Call it the mercy that surpasses our understanding. It is real, and it is for you, not against you. Here, in this sacred space of honest tears and raw brokenness, you can begin to feel the gentle balm of peace. Peace doesn't mean the absence of storms, but the presence of a guiding hand in the midst of them. Peace is the quiet assurance that, in the whirlwind of emotions and the chaos of life's struggles, there is an anchor for your soul. And that anchor is the truth that you are more than your circumstances, more than the sum of your failures, more than the product of your past decisions. Peace whispers, you are beloved, you are worthy of another chance. Peace extends an invitation to rest, even as the war rages around you. Oh, how your enemies want you to forget this truth. The voices in your mind, in your past, or even in the world around you may taunt you and say, "Stay down, you'll never rise again." But let me tell you something, they are liars. And the greatest lie they want you to believe is that it's impossible for you to stand once more. The greatest lie they want you to embrace is that you are alone, unloved and undeserving of victory. When you refute this lie, when you reject it and say, "I refuse to be defined by defeat," something miraculous occurs. You begin to stir from within. The seeds of a new fight, a renewed determination, start to germinate in your soul. Yes, it may seem like a feeble spark at first, especially under the weight of so much discouragement. But that spark can glow brighter if you feed it with hope. How do you feed it? You feed it with words of life, with affirmations of truth, with testimonies of those who have walked this valley before you and made it through. You feed it by praying, even if your prayer sounds like a single tear falling, followed by a trembling whisper, "Help me." You feed it by letting yourself believe for one sacred moment that your enemies do not have the final say in your life. Now, let us consider that breakthrough moment. In the midst of pain, how do you know you are approaching that sacred turning point? Often it comes in a hush. You might feel it as a calming presence in your chest, a small release from the crushing anxiety, an unexplainable easing of the tension in your brow. Then you realize that some part of you, deep within, is beginning to trust again. Trust in a higher power, in the promise that you are not forgotten, in the possibility of a new dawn after the darkest night. That trust is fragile, but unbelievably resilient at the same time. Like the first green shoots that push through barren earth, it announces that life indeed will return. To those who have wronged you, to those circumstances that have battered you, I say, they do not own your destiny. They might have impacted your journey, caused you pain, and challenged you beyond measure, but they do not determine your final outcome. In the grand tapestry of life, every thread has a purpose. Even the painful threads, the dark moments, the illusions of defeat. They can be woven into a triumphant narrative if you choose to surrender them into hands that can redeem all things. Perhaps you still feel fear of the battles that lie ahead. That's understandable. Yet courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward in spite of it. You might tremble and your voice might shake, but there is a power in deciding, "I will not remain on the ground any longer. I will rise, even if it is with shaky knees." Each step you take forward, rooted in the faith that you are not alone, unleashes a force so great that even your fiercest enemies cannot contain it. In spiritual terms, you can think of it as the might of divine love that flows through you when you align yourself with it. This love is a fountain that springs up from within, reminding you of your identity, not as a hopeless victim, but as a beloved creation, fashioned for victory and joy. You might say, "But I've never felt that love. I don't know if it applies to me." I assure you, it does. You are not excluded. In fact, sometimes those who have walked the darkest roads, felt the harshest pains, and faced the most brutal enemies, have a special capacity to receive and understand this love once they open up. Your brokenness becomes the space where love can pour in, filling all the cracks and hollow places until it overflows. Think about a clay jar that has cracks. When light is placed inside that jar, it shines through the cracks all the brighter. That's what happens when you let love in. You become a beacon. People will see how you have been restored and will wonder at the power that lifted you from your place of despair. This is why your story matters. Your testimony of emerging from this valley, from feeling overwhelmed by enemies, to standing in renewed strength, can become a catalyst of hope for others. Do you see how precious your life is? It's not just for you. It's for every person who needs encouragement, who needs to see that it's possible to overcome, no matter the odds. Now, let's address your sense of purpose. You see, the enemies that come against you often target your sense of meaning in life. They want to convince you that you have no importance, no unique role in this world, that your dreams were illusions, and your voice is insignificant. But let me speak a word of truth to you. You have a purpose. Your life is not random. You came into this world with gifts and potential that only you possess. The battles you face can be forging you into the person you are meant to be. Like steel in the fire, the heat and pressure can shape you, refine you, and bring out the best in you. The refining process hurts, yes, but the outcome, a stronger, purer version of who you are called to become. If your purpose has been clouded by hurt, bitterness, or shame, I invite you now to release all those burdens. Even if you can only surrender them for a moment, let them slip from your grasp. Each burden you lay down makes more space for restoration and clarity to fill you. You might not see your full purpose just yet, but you can start to sense the corners of it, that gentle push in your spirit that says, "There is more for me than this darkness. I can feel it. Indeed, friend, there is more. There is the promise of new relationships, healthy ones that build you up instead of tearing you down. There is the promise of new opportunities to love and be loved. There is the promise of dreams rekindled and passions reignited. There is the promise of laughter after seasons of tears. There is the promise of beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, and praise for despair. These promises are not empty clichés. They are truths that have been lived out by countless souls who have been delivered from despair into hope. You are invited to be counted among them. It does not matter if the world labeled you a failure. It does not matter if you labeled yourself as such. Let that label be removed from you. Place it on the ground, leave it behind, and walk forward with the simple belief, I am more than my failures. I am more than what happened to me. I am more than these enemies who tried to break me. Walk forward, step by trembling step, and watch as your stride becomes steadier over time. Do not be afraid to ask for help from others. Sometimes one of the most effective tools against our enemies is the companionship of people who truly care. People who speak life, who call forth the goodness in us, who remind us of our worth when we forget. Seek out those people. Seek out that community of souls who stand arm in arm and declare, we will not give up on each other. If you cannot find them, keep searching. They are out there, ready to walk with you, even if only for a season. If you feel alone today, reach out in whatever way you can. A message, a call, a prayer. Doors have a way of opening when a soul sincerely seeks connection and healing. I also encourage you to search your heart for any grudges or bitterness you've been holding toward your enemies. Now let me be clear. I am not minimizing the pain they caused or the injustice of it all. You are absolutely right to acknowledge the wrongness of those actions against you. However, holding on to bitterness is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. It harms your spirit more than anyone else's. If you can, begin the process of letting that bitterness go. Forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you refuse to let it control your life any longer. It creates a fresh space in your heart for joy and peace to reside. It's a gift you give yourself to break the chains that keep you bound to the hurt. In letting go of bitterness, you make room for growth. And as you grow, you become a new creation in many ways, blossoming with compassion, empathy, and resilience. Your story becomes a testimony of how to overcome the seemingly insurmountable. Others who are struggling will look to you and find comfort. If they can get back up, maybe I can too. And with that, the cycle of hope continues, spreading like a ripple through the hearts of everyone who hears about your journey. Now, the thought might come, but the pain is still there. I can't just ignore it. That's true. Healing is often a process, not an instant miracle. Let the tears come when they must. Let yourself grieve what was lost. But grieving is a passage, not a destination. You walk through it. You come out on the other side with new wisdom, deeper empathy, and a more profound sense of life's preciousness. You begin to notice moments of joy again. Tiny glimmers at first, then brighter flashes of warmth that remind you what it feels like to be alive. Slowly, that fear you once had of trying again, of opening your heart, of daring to hope, begins to lose its grip. It no longer holds you captive, because you have seen that even in the worst storms, there is a hand to steady you. You realize that even the greatest heartbreaks can be transformed into a deeper capacity for love, for compassion, and for understanding. You discover day by day that you are stronger than you ever knew, not because of your own might alone, but because you have tapped into a spiritual reservoir of grace that poured strength into your weakness. I want you to pause for a moment and let this assurance flood your being. You will rise again. Yes, you, who feels defeated and forgotten, you will rise. There is a purpose for your life beyond these trials. There is a story still unfolding. There is a victory song within you, waiting to be sung. It may take time, and you may not know all the verses yet, but it is there, forming in your heart. If you listen in stillness, you might catch a faint melody, a melody of hope that is growing louder with each beat of your heart. Let these words speak directly to your soul. You are not a failure. You are not defined by the darkness that surrounded you. You are more than the heartbreak, more than the losses, more than the betrayal. Your life has meaning. Your destiny is significant. You carry within you the seeds of greatness because you carry the imprint of divine love. Let that love heal you, restore you, and lift you up so you may become a shining beacon to those still lost in despair. I know this journey is not easy, but you have what it takes to walk it. Yes, you. Even if you have only a mustard seed of faith in your heart, a tiny speck of hope that you can't even see clearly, that seed is powerful enough to break mountains of doubt when nurtured. Water it with encouragement, protect it from the harsh winds of negativity, and it will grow. And as it grows, so will your resilience, your sense of identity, and your capacity to love and be loved. My dear friend, be encouraged today. Know that your story is far from over. The chapters ahead can be marked by redemption, restoration, and peace. You can reclaim what was lost, or perhaps discover something even better, something deeper and richer than you could have imagined before. And one day you will look back on this valley, not with shame, but with profound gratitude for the lessons learned, the strength gained, and the precious knowledge that you are never truly alone. So, step forward in faith. Even if that first step is small, hesitant and uncertain, it is still a step toward your breakthrough. Believe that every promise of restoration and hope is for you too. You are not excluded, and remember, you don't have to be perfect to receive this gift of renewal. It is freely given to those who ask, who open their hearts, and who are willing to be changed from the inside out. As the peace of acceptance settles over you, let it cradle your heart and your mind. Let it begin to soothe the wounds inflicted by enemies, by cruel words, by circumstances that felt beyond your control. The moment of breakthrough might not be loud or dramatic. It might come in a hush, a quiet assurance that you are accepted, that you are loved, that you are enough. And from that place you can rebuild. From that place you can walk the path of healing, discovering each new day that you are stronger than you once believed. Feel that wave of peace wash over the pain. Feel the burden start to lift, if only for an instant, and recognize that you have touched something real, something that does not depend on external approval or the praise of others. This peace comes from a deeper source, a source that calls you by name and affirms your worth. Let that be the foundation upon which you stand. Let that assurance be the cornerstone of your new beginning. You, who thought all was lost, are now ready to see the dawn. The night may have been long, and the enemies around you many, but morning has come. You have been seen, heard, and lifted. From here, you step into a renewed sense of purpose, for you carry a treasure within you, the treasure of a life reclaimed from despair. That treasure will shine through your actions, words, and presence wherever you go. Before we close this sacred exchange, take a moment to breathe deeply and let gratitude fill your heart. Gratitude for the strength you've discovered, for the promise of restoration that now fills your spirit. Gratitude for the hands, seen and unseen, that have supported you in your darkest hours. Gratitude for the new day dawning, and for the undeniable truth that love remains victorious over fear and hate. No matter how the battles raged around you, the final word over your life is not defeat. The final word is restoration. With your head lifted, a new determination lighting up your eyes, you can face tomorrow with confidence, not because life's battles suddenly vanish, but because you know you will not face them alone. There is a guiding hand in the storm, a calming voice in the chaos, a relentless love that refuses to let you go. My friend, walk forward in that assurance. Let your story be one of transformation and hope, a beacon of light for all who know you. And finally, if you found comfort and strength in these words, if the message stirred something in your soul, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs hope today. You never know whose life might change because you reached out. You never know who needs the very words that have just brought you peace and renewed purpose. Let us pass on the gift of encouragement, shining light into every corner where darkness lingers, reminding each other that we are held, we are loved, and we can rise again. So, my friend, go forth in peace and in victory. Take one step at a time and watch as your spirit grows stronger every day. You may have felt defeated, but now you know defeat does not define you. You are a conqueror, loved and supported beyond measure. May you carry this truth with you always. Amen. And until we meet again, stay in the light of love and hope.